Good evening. I've been asked to speak about the Adelphi Hotel. Peter seemed to speak quite sentimentally, perhaps, about the pool designed more than 50 years ago. I find it a little bit strange talking about a building that we designed more than 20 years ago, but here we go. Adelphi Hotel, 1991 to 1993. Through the 1980s, my partners and I did an awful lot of travelling. We opened offices in Hong Kong, in Kuala Lumpur, in Singapore, in Jakarta. We were commissioned to do the Australian Embassy in Beijing and also the Australian Embassy in Tokyo, which all occurred through that period. And I think what that effect that had on us was that we got awfully bored with sort of Hyatt and Sheraton beige hotel rooms. And we were intrigued by the sorts of things that Philippe Starck was starting to do, and the ideas of boutique hotels around the world. So we took it on ourselves to do one for ourselves. We thought, why don't we do one? So this building came up for sale. It's an old, and it was a building that I'd liked for many years in wandering around the city. It was a building I'd always liked because it was a 1930s modern rag trade warehouse, rag trade factory called Melbourne House, and it was exceptionally clean, very nice sort of simple modern sort of factory building in Flinders Lane in the rag trade area. It wasn't heritage listed. It was heritage contributory, I think, is the sort of terminology that it had in the, and so we could sort of do things to it, but not really. So we resolved to basically clean up the building and add some bits and pieces on top that were sort of significantly different and contemporary and sort of presented themselves from different angles, but from the street you still had pretty much the same old building. I think also it gave us the opportunity to sort of try and do absolutely everything ourselves, from the furniture right through to the building itself. So we built a little bit on top. We built a little two-storey section on the back of it to house a club and a roof deck and a swimming pool. The regulations as they were cast at that time said that you could build architectural features 1 metre out over the street, and it was, I think, coming from the days when people built corbelled sort of parapets out, not parapets but corbelled elements out onto the street as part of more sort of classically developed designs. And you can see the building on the left of it across the lane has one of those sorts of things. So we decided to build a pool, and we wanted to make it sort of feel a very uncomfortable sort of pool. So we built it hard on the edge of the laneway, and we decided to cantilever it 1 metre out over the street. We put that in for a planning permit. We fully expected to be told we couldn't do it, and for some reason or other the planning permit just came through and it happened. To make it a bit more interesting, we put a glass floor on the last metre of it. We put a glass floor in and a glass end on the pool, so that you can see people from the street. You can look up and see people in the pool, or alternatively they can see you and flick water on you, which they do from time to time. The glass ended up being about 48 millimetres thick laminated glass, on the theory that was bulletproof and therefore nobody could sort of shoot a hole in the pool and be deluged by the water coming out of it. But it's still there. The yellow section that you see is now getting quite rusty because in the last 5 or 10 years it's had no maintenance at all. So maybe it'll just start leaking out the side pretty soon. I don't know. So we built it and we owned it and we ran it, which was a crazy sort of thing to do, but we did it. There's the pool as it sits there. I'm still amazed. I live next door to the building, and I'm still amazed at the numbers of people that sort of walk down the street and point it out, or stand there and look and watch. I'm sort of pretty used to it now. So really all we did was the little bit of work at the top, where from the street you can see the pool, you can see a big yellow plate propped up with sticks, and a stick that runs from that plate right down to carry a narrow vertical sign that says Adelphi Hotel. And then at the bottom, at the entrance to the building, we ran again a plate coming out of the building onto which we could get an illuminated Adelphi word. Adelphi, why Adelphi? Well, we did this hotel in association with a couple of Greek friends whom we'd done some restaurants and things for, and they said that Adelphi kind of meant brotherhood or something similar, so it seemed appropriate at the time. We also imagined that we recalled a film with Humphrey Bogart or somebody similar, where they walk out of the door and they're standing at the door of a hotel and get shot, and as they slide down, the sign of the hotel was revealed as the Adelphi Hotel. So it had sort of interesting references for us. This is the stuff that got built on top. I mean, it's, as I said, it has. I've got to work this out now. So 6 rooms a floor, and they fitted very simply into the very simple floor plates that we had, and this is what we built then on top. And you can see the 2-level club, the pool, and the pool deck. The pool from slightly closer up, and then the entry from the street. So, having decided that we didn't want sort of hotel beige, we decided to stay fairly colourful with yellow, which was a preferred colour of ours at the time, and created an entry foyer where we designed the furniture right through the hotel. And we designed the rugs. This particular rug was an abstraction of the big square panel up on the roof and the sticks holding it up, and the red base of the pool sort of cantilevering into the rug. So there was sort of references to the pool, and then the other rug that runs backwards, which I think there's a picture of, is a reference to the pool itself. So the red bits that you can see carry on across to the left. So this was the sketch for the 2 rugs. The left-hand rug being the pool, and the right-hand rug being the yellow plate that reflected the Adelphi, and with the beams of the pool running into it. And there you can see it looking backwards down the way. So it was all very yellow. We'd used yellow sort of proudly used yellow since the days of the Melbourne City Square, where we commissioned Ron Robertson Swan to do the piece of sculpture in the square, and subsequently removed. So we sort of took it on ourselves over the years to sort of somewhat defiantly continue to use yellow wherever possible. So again, the dining area, the restaurant area, more furniture that we designed. The stairs down to the lower level, which was the bistro and cafe area, which was this area. Again, this has now been changed around quite a lot and is Izard's restaurant now, but this is certainly the way it started out. You can see in there, you can see panels of, we put in sort of separating panels, so down that right-hand side you can see a series of panels that in which we put sort of contemporary architecture of Melbourne on them, so you can see, I think, Woodmarsh House, you can see ARM's Story Hall, there's a Peter Corrigan building a bit further down. So we used some contemporary architecture as a means of breaking up the space a little bit. Again, the bathrooms, we put neon in the floor of that level. And this is the only photograph that I could find that of the club up on the top, which ran quite successfully for a while and was quite a fun place to be in. The bedrooms, and again we wanted our interventions into the old building to be things that were sort of like leant up against walls or were visibly had the sense of being added to, so that the back to the bed was something that was leant up against the wall. And so the basic form of the old building and the basic feel of the old building was kept. The bathrooms, this is all it's 1990, 1991, so it's of its time. Again, one of the other smaller bedrooms. As you move down the hotel, there was two larger rooms to the front and then smaller rooms to the back. So these are the smaller rooms with the bathroom on the right-hand side. So as I said, we designed all the furniture. These are some of the sketches that were done at the time that were the ideas of introducing colour. The chair had all sorts of different backs, so that the two grey sections at the front were repetitious. They occurred on all of them, but the elements that formed the back of the chair were either single or double or multiple in different heights and different forms, with different coloured leathers to them, so that each chair in each of the rooms was different. Another little sketch of a different chair, another version of the chair. So it was a great fun thing to do. We managed to lose lots of money on it. We kept it for about 10 years and then sold it. And it's sort of gone a little bit downhill since then. It hasn't had the love and care that we put into it. But it's still there, it's still largely original because they haven't really bothered to refurbish it too much. A lot of the furniture's changed. I think all these chairs have been thrown out onto the tip and are long gone. But the bones of it is still all there. So my favourite building, I wanted to pick something a little bit different, and what I picked was, this is the Delbridge House in Carlsberg Road, Eaglemont, and I picked it for a favourite sentimental building because I grew up about 4 houses away from it, and it's probably roughly contemporary with the Olympic pool, I would think, because I think it's 1956. It's not architect designed, it was, I think, really engineer designed by Emery Balin, from an engineer at RMIT. But growing up as a teenager and watching it being built, I think the reason it's a favourite for me was I was just so staggered at the thinness of the columns and the plates and the glass and everything, that it was just a shockingly amazing building for me to have going up a few doors away. And I guess it's really one of the buildings that turned me towards doing architecture, and hopefully that's a good thing. Thank you very much.